Last season, the Larks won their first NBC World Series title, and today they will look to defend that championship in the 91st edition of the NBC World Series against the Seattle Blackfins. As we welcome you into our coverage of the pregame show live from X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas, alongside me today is Eli Blankenship, and I'm Hank Corsair. And the Larks have always entered the NBC World Series with the pressure of winning their first championship. Only this time around it's going to be a little bit different, as they will have to deal with the pressure of being the defending champs. And they've lived up to the expectations this entire season with big wins and dominant performances. But once postseason play starts, everything that you've accomplished up until that point in the regular season doesn't matter anymore as a new season begins. So as the Larks enter the 91st annual NBC World Series with back-to-back RMBL titles, a 13-game win streak, and many returning players from last year's championship team, their only goal now is to put another championship trophy in the case at Larks Park. And it should be an exciting game today, as we're about 14 minutes away from first pitch. And we'll have that coming up as our pregame show coverage will continue. We'll have Eli Blankenship on, and we'll also take a look at our opponent breakdown and starting lineups as well. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks. We welcome you back to X Stadium for our pregame show coverage as the Larks get set to take on the Seattle Blackfins in the second game of the NBC World Series pool play. We're now joined by the color commentator for today's game, Eli Blankenship. Eli, how are you doing?
Doing great. This is kind of a surreal feeling getting to be here at the NBC World Series up in the press box. This is my first time ever getting to call the NBC World Series, and I grew up coming to this event, so it's a pretty surreal feeling right now.
Yeah, I'm just ready for the game to get started, but looking back at the Larks this entire season, we got to witness some great games with dominant performances and big wins and great showings by a lot of the Larks players.
Yeah, without a doubt. And this Larks team came off of a really hot streak. They are coming into this NBC World Series feeling really good. They have swept their last 3-4 opponents now, and they've had a excellent run here late in the season. They've been playing some really good baseball. They've been in great form, and I'm really excited to see what this team has in store.
And looking at the Larks, they enter this game with a win streak of 13 games. You got to think that putting that together this late in the season definitely helps, because it shows that you're coming together as a team at the right part of the season, especially when you look back at last season. The Larks entered the 2024 World Series on a 5-game win streak, and that's definitely going to help them this time around, especially because it's a longer one.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this team has really melded together pretty well. That they've really formed a lot of really nice team chemistry. They've bonded really well as a team, and even those players that have been kind of late arrivals to this squad have really been able to just fit right into the meld and been able to find their role within the team. And I think that's a really important thing about this Larks squad, is they work really well as a team.
And it's definitely a different feeling this time around compared to years past, because the Larks have always entered with that chip on their shoulder of trying to win the first title, especially because they've been runner-up many times before. This time around, it's a different feeling because they have to deal with a target on their back of being the defending champs, and there's always going to be that team that wants to take that title away from you.
Yeah, they've definitely got a target on their back. You and I were just talking before this broadcast about some of the teams that have been kind of loading up their teams, getting their teams stacked up and ready to go for the NBC World Series, and now it's a very different feel for this Larks squad, because this is pretty much the same core group of guys. You've got the same core for that from that team last year, and then you've kind of had a few additions here and there, but at the core, they've really kept that same core of players. And so this squad, they definitely have that pride of that, yeah, we won the championship last year, but I think they're still hungry. Every person that we've talked to on this squad in all of our post-game interviews that we've done have always said, we're ready to go get another one. And so I think that that's a really important thing to remember with this Larks squad. They're not satisfied with just winning last season.
And looking at the Larks' opponent today, the Seattle Blackfins, we know that they're a young team that has a lot of experience, but they're definitely at a disadvantage coming into Wichita because they're playing 2 time zones over and playing at an earlier game time because this game was supposed to start at 6. They moved it early to combat some storms that are going to come in the area later tonight. They're definitely going to feel the impact of that tonight.
Oh, yeah, and I think that there's going to be a little bit of jet lag there, along with the fact that this team, we talked about it before the game, you and I, they've added a lot of players coming into this World Series, a lot of players that they've never even had on their roster all season. And it was specifically just for this World Series. And so it makes you wonder how well those players are going to be able to perform with this team that they're unfamiliar with. Some of these players haven't played with this team all season. They don't necessarily have that cohesiveness that the Larks might have. So it'll be a really interesting dynamic to see some of those really experienced players. We talked about a couple guys that have been in the minor league system even that are on this Blackfins team. It'll be really interesting to see how well they perform in this game.
And we're going to see a lot of exciting games throughout this entire week here in Wichita. So what do you expect to see as the Larks chase another title?
Oh, man. Like I said, these guys are hungry. These guys are hungry. They are ready. They have been waiting for this World Series all season long. They've been talking about it all season. Every time we talk to them about what's next, what's on the horizon for you, they are always looking at that next thing. They won the RMBL, and the first thing that most of them said was, oh, yeah, this is great, but we got to keep the foot on the gas pedal. We want that championship in Wichita. So I'm expecting to see some great performances from this Larks squad. We've seen it all season long, and I don't expect anything less from them.
It's great to talk with Eli on the pregame show. Now we'll take a look at our opponent breakdown. And the Seattle Blackfins, they come into tonight's game with a record of 17-15-2, and they play out of the Pacific International League, where they finished 13-12-2 and finished in 5th place in the league. And they were actually in the top 3, but finished their regular season finale with a tie, so it dropped them down to 5th place, but they were able to secure the NBC at-large bid before they fell down into 5th place. And they are one of 2 PIL teams in the NBC World Series this year. The other one is the Seattle Cheney Studs that just played a little bit ago against the Dodge City A's. Dodge ended up winning that game by a final score of 8-0 in a 7th-inning run rule. And the Blackfins, taking a look at them, they're made up of a lot of local players, which feature 20 from their home state of Washington and also 8 from Seattle. And it's also a young team with many JUCO players. But like we said when we were talking with Eli, they added 10 players from teams around their league, and they also have some former professional players in there as well. And entering the World Series this year, they're going to be looking for improvement, as this is their 3rd appearance in a row. And they took 12th place in 2023 and 13th place in 2024. So that is our opponent breakdown, and we'll take another break. When we come back, we will take a look at the starting lineups, and we should have first pitch after that. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Welcome back to Wichita, Kansas on the pregame shows. The Larks get set to take on the Seattle Blackfins in their first game of pool play at the NBC World Series. And it's now time to take a look at our starting lineups for today's game. And we'll start off with the Seattle Blackfins. This is what their starting lineup will look like. They will start off with the second baseman, number 42, Joshua Carter. After that will be the first baseman, Paxton Bigby. The designated hitter will bat in the 3 spot today. That's number 24, JT Starkus. And their middle part of their order will be their outfield, starting with right fielder, number 13, Joshua Williams. After that, number 17, Jeff Perron, the left fielder, will bat 5th in the order. And batting 6th is the center fielder, number 16, Brody Bloom. And looking at the final 3 spots in their order, it'll be Harrison Kaufman, Mike Singleton, and Braden Roa. And now we'll take a look at the Larks starting lineup, and this is what it'll look like tonight. Lane Sparks will be the leadoff batter once again. He is playing in right field today. Trent Baker will once again return to left field, batting 2nd in the order. Jackson Babcock playing first base today will be in the 3-hole spot. Wilbert Espinal batting in the DH will be the 4th batter in the order. Thomas Lissy will bat 5th after that, returning to the 3rd base spot. Caleb Duncan, who played here at X Stadium this last year for college, will bat 6th. And the final 3 batters in the order will be the catcher, Lorenzo Rios, the shortstop, Tabor Stokes, and the second baseman, CJ Reed. So those are your starting lineups tonight. And taking a look at our pitching matchup for the Blackfins, they will start number 4, Jack Fenton. And for the Larks, they're going to start number 14, Nick Gray, in his 8th start of the season, putting his 6-0 record on the line. So that'll do it for our pregame show, and we'll have first pitch up next. This is the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. It is 2 o'clock and the moment has arrived. The Larks are taking on the Seattle Blackfins, entering as the defending champs, ready to go for a repeat here at X Stadium. As we welcome you back into our coverage of today's game, I'm Hank Corsair, and alongside me is Eli Blankenship. Should be an exciting game to see how the Larks respond coming off of a game that they didn't get to play. They still have the 13-game win streak, and they're going in with a different feeling as the defending champs.
Yeah, they are. I think that this is certainly uncharted territory for this Larks team, and for that matter, uncharted territory for this Larks program. This program's been around for almost 60 years now. Is that correct?
Closer to 80.
Okay, so I'm way off. This program, the Larks program itself has been around for almost 80 years now, and that is nuts to me that this program's been so notable, and yet their first time ever winning an NBC World Series was last season. Now they're coming in as the defending champs for the first time ever.
Should be an exciting game as the first pitch goes to the plate high and outside to Lane Sparks for ball one. The first pitch of tonight's game comes at 2:02. And looking at our weather report, it's 89 degrees and cloudy with 6-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the southwest. And because of the rainstorms we had this morning, you can definitely feel the humidity here at X Stadium as it's a swing and a miss. The count is 1-1 now to Sparks. In the leadoff spot, facing off against number 4, Jack Fenton, one of the 10 players for the Blackfins that they added to their lineup for the NBC World Series. And after fouling off the next pitch towards the Larks dugout on the third base side, the count is 1-2. The Larks are the decided away team, even though they're on the third base side. And the next pitch goes to the plate, and it's a swing and a miss. And right away, the Blackfins get a strikeout on the leadoff batter, and there's one away.
Well, we knew this Blackfins squad was going to be a very talented team, and this is going to be a test for this Larks team. They really had a couple teams in the RMBL they had some challenges with, but I don't think that they saw any teams that were nearly as talented as some of the teams that they're going to see here at the NBC World Series.
Next batter up for the Larks is the left fielder Trent Baker. As he starts with a 1-0 count, the next pitch misses on the outside. And Trent Baker ahead. Quick look at our uniform description for tonight. The Larks wearing their traditional white uniforms with blue numbers and letters with a red outline reading Larks across the front. Count is now 2-1 as Trent Baker fouls one into the net behind home plate. And looking at the Blackfins, they are wearing gray pants and a teal uniform reading Blackfins across the front. Being from Seattle, Eli pointed it out, it's kind of like a Mariners style uniform.
Yeah, I'm quite fond of their uniforms. They're pretty nice. They're pretty slick looking. They've got a really nice teal color. It adds a really nice pop to the field.
3-1 on the way, and it misses on the outside. Trent Baker will be the first runner on for the Larks in the 2025 NBC World Series.
Well, base runners, we've talked about it all season long. Base runners are what wins ball games. Even if you get on the base by a walk, it doesn't matter. It's all about getting those base runners on the base paths. That is how you score runs in this beautiful game of baseball. And for the Larks, they'll take a walk any day of the week, especially when they're at this point of the season where it is literally do or die here at the NBC World Series. It is they're at the big show.
Next up is number 5, Jackson Babcock, the freshman from League City, Texas, who will let the first one go by for strike one. Trent Baker taking a big lead over at first base. Covering first is number 25, Paxton Bigby. We'll take a look at the defensive alignment for the Blackfins in just a moment as the pitch goes on the outside. Trent Baker successfully steals second base, and the Larks already got a runner in scoring position, and there's only one out.
Well, you can hear the Larks faithful that have made the trip all the way from Hayes, the 2.5-hour drive. There's a pretty good showing even here on a Thursday for this first opening game of the NBC World Series. I mean, it's really awesome to see how well this Larks team travels.
Fenton continuing to use his fastball. He puts that one down the middle, and Jackson Babcock is down with 2 strikes in the count. Here's the defensive alignment for the Blackfins. They will put number 17, Jeff Perron, in left field, and center field is number 16, Brody Bloom. And next to him in right field is number 13, Joshua Williams. 1 and 2 on the way, and this one a sky ball going into foul territory on the left field side. And getting there is Perron for out number 2.
But it'll be interesting to see how early the Larks can strike in this game. We know they score very well against any team, really. The offensively that is their strong suit. They are a very talented offensive team, but it'll be interesting to see how well they perform against a kind of foreign opponent.
Well, Wilbert Espinal makes his way into the left-handed batter's box and starts with an 0-1 count. Here's the infield for the Blackfins. The catcher today is number 28, Braden Rowe. And looking at their infield, they will have number 18, Mike Singleton, at the third base. Number 7, Harrison Kaufman, will be the shortstop. Next to him is the second baseman, number 42, Joshua Carter. And the first baseman today is number 25, Paxton Bigby. Wilbert Espinal in the DH spot is down 0-2 in the count as he steps back into the box. Baker over at second, taking a lead again. He's already stolen second once. We'll see if he decides to go to third with the count 0-2, 2 outs. And this one's drilled into center field. Bloom will run after it, and he can't get there in time. This one's going to bounce all the way to the wall. Trent Baker will score. Espinal will sprint over to second, and he will stop right there. An RBI double for the designated hitter, and the Larks strike first.
Well, there's a reason being he's hitting in that cleanup spot. It's that reason right there. Wilbert Espinal picking up an early RBI for the Larks. How about that? That's the way to start the NBC World Series. That's got me pumped up here in the booth.
We'll see if it's a 2-out rally that gets started right here as the third baseman, Thomas Lissy, comes up to bat. Once again, another Larks batter working at second base. Lissy playing closer to the plate. Jack Fenton, the junior from Akron, will deliver the first pitch for ball 1. We're seeing Fenton use his fastball quite a bit. He works that into his arsenal along with a slider, a changeup, and a curveball. Next pitch goes outside once again, and Lissy is ahead 2-0 in the count.
The Larks are going to have good plate discipline here today at X Stadium as they're playing against a pretty talented pitching staff.
This one will be popped up, and it'll go out of play. And there's the first strike to Thomas Lissy. The 29th game of the season for the junior from Harlingen, Texas. Enters with 21 RBIs on the season, trying to make it 22 with Espinal at second. The pitch on the way from Fenton. Continuing to use his fastball, he misses the zone once again. The count is 3-1.
There's that plate discipline I was talking about. 3-1 count now. Thomas Lissy is really in a position to attack, but it's got to be in the zone for him to take a swing at this one.
Pitchers have to work with a pitch clock for the first time this season. There's 6 seconds left on it. Fenton delivers, and this one is going to be drilled into foul territory on the right field side. It goes out of the ballpark, and the count is now full for Thomas Lissy.
Well, he made pretty good contact with that ball. I could hear the crack from all the way up here in the press box, but didn't quite get it straightened out. We'll see if Lissy can make better contact here on this one.
The infielders on the right side will play back to the grass a little bit. Payoff pitch from Fenton is on the way, and it's a swing and a miss. He gets his second strikeout of the inning, and that retires the side. But the Larks strike first as Trent Baker gets to second on a stolen base, and Wilbert Espinal brings him home through an RBI double. When we come back, the Seattle Blackfins will have Joshua Carter as their leadoff batter up next. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network.
Larks.
1 run, 1 hit, and 1 left on base for the Larks in the top of the first inning as they strike first. And now we're going to find out if the pitching can do what they did in the entire regular season, set the tempo early. And for that, the Larks will start their ace pitcher. That is number 14, Nick Gray, the junior from Angelo State. Made the most starts, pitched the most innings, and has the best record on the team at 6-0 on the year, facing off against the leadoff batter, Joshua Carter. As he delivers the first pitch, he fouls it back, starting with an 0-1 count.
Yeah, I could hear it from up here. The ball actually went straight into the catcher's mask of Lorenzo Rios. You could kind of hear it tip off of there and almost made pretty good contact on that ball. If he would have barreled the ball, that would have had a really good chance to go out into the outfield at least.
The Blackfins are led off by the infielder from Dallas, Texas. Trying to set the tempo on the base path early. They have their stolen base leader as the leadoff batter. 14 for him on the season, and he's starting with a 1-1 count. Gray gets set to deliver the next pitch, and a swing and a miss as it takes a bounce in the dirt. There is strike 2.
Well, he got him to bite on that pitch. I'm a little bit surprised that Carter didn't have a little bit better plate discipline there on that pitch. It really didn't look like it had much of a chance to get over to the plate, but granted, that ball's coming in a lot faster than we can even see up here in the booth.
Gray kicks and deals, and this one will be fouled away near the tables next to the Blackfins dugout. It keeps the count at 1-2. After Joshua Carter in this inning, it'll be Paxton Bigby and JT Starkus up to bat for Seattle. Gray delivers the pitch, and a swing and a miss on the outside. First batter, first strikeout of the day, and that's number 44 on the year for the junior out of Forney, Texas.
Well, just like you talked about, setting the tempo early, that's such an important piece for this Larks pitching squad tonight, or at least this afternoon in this matchup, is going to be setting the tempo early. We've talked about it multiple times this season where the pitching translates over to the offensive side of things for the Larks.
Next up is Paxton Bigby, listed on the roster as 32. Today he's wearing number 25, and he watches the first pitch go by for strike 1. He's another player for this Blackfins team that was added later just for the NBC World Series, and he's now facing a 1-1 count. He is a sophomore from Shoreline Community College that's committed to play at the Division I level at South Alabama next season. Has a tied count now as the next pitch goes high. 2-1 now to the first baseman. Rios positions his glove low in center. And here comes the pitch. And it gets into the zone. 2 strikes now to Bigby. And Gray has an opportunity to get strikeout number 2. As he gets set to send the ball to the plate. Here it comes. It's going to be put in play. Over to Jackson Babcock. He will field it, wave off Gray, and tag first base. The Larks have 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning.
Well, 2 up, 2 down so far. We'll see if they can't go 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the first inning. So far, the Larks have been looking pretty good on both sides of the baseball. Nick Gray really setting the tempo here for the defense.
Next up for the Blackfins is the designated hitter, JT Starkus. Another player for the Blackfins from Shoreline Community College in the Seattle area. First pitch slid out of the zone, a half-hearted swing, but the field umpire says that he didn't go round. 1-0 count to Starkus. Another one just misses the zone for ball 2. Stark has played in 47 games this season at Shoreline Community College, earning first-team All-NWAC North honors. He awaits the third pitch of the at-bat as Gray sends it to the plate, and this one's going to be a line drive into left field, and Baker can't track it down as this one's going to bounce over the walls, and it's a ground rule double.
Well, not a bad knock there for the Blackfins. They needed something to get the bus rolling here for the Blackfins. They had two really early outs in this inning. We'll see if they can't put together a 2-out rally. Something that's really interesting about this field as a whole is the outfield is actually a pretty small outfield, all things considered. Larks Park is 400-plus feet, and at its furthest point. Here at X Stadium, it's 390 in dead center. So it'll be a little interesting to see how easy it is for batters to hit some over the fence like we just saw there on that ground rule double.
Joshua Williams comes up to the plate next for the Blackfins. Middle part of the Blackfins order is their outfield. And it's another Shoreline Community College player, as Williams is originally from Chicago, Illinois. He faces a 1-0 count. Gray takes a look back at second and sends the ball to the plate. And this one will be fouled back into the net for strike 1.
Another interesting part about this outfield, the corners. Both corners are the exact same distance, both at 330. So that's actually a little bit further than what we've seen at Larks Park. Obviously, Larks Park has a pretty shallow outfield and right field.
Gray and Rios come to an agreement. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 2.
Well, Gray certainly in control of this count now. He's got a 1-2 count. He does not have to pitch a strike here. He can go all over the zone. He's got a little bit of leeway here to work with on this fourth batter in the lineup.
He struck out the first batter on a 1-2 count. This one a 1-2 as well, and it will stay that way as it's going to go foul off of the Wichita State facility next behind the Larks dugout. We now await the fifth pitch of the at-bat. As Williams tries to fight back, he's the hits leader for this Blackfins team with 32 on the year. Gray kicks and deals, and that one takes a bounce on the inside, and it actually clipped Williams in the foot, so he's going to head over to first base.
Well, I saw what Gray was trying to do there. He was trying to get Williams jammed up on the inside corner, and he just couldn't quite get that pitch to slide in where he wanted it to. And unfortunately for the Larks, they're going to have to give up a base here. They've got runners on first and second. They've still got 2 outs, so they're still doing all right. They just can't let anything deep into the outfield. Otherwise, they're going to have at least 1 run score here from the Blackfins.
Jeff Perron now comes up to the plate, batting 5th in the order. Out of their active players, he is the leader in slugging percentage and OPS, because with the roster changes, the Blackfins lost their leaders in average, on-base percentage, slugging, and OPS. It's a 1-0 count as Gray delivers the pitch, and that one will go foul. As it got away from Rios, the count is now 1-1.
The Larks pitching staff has talked about it all season long. Getting ahead in the count early has been their key to success against every single team that they've faced. Nick Ray, we've seen him do it a couple times already here in the first inning. Getting ahead in that count has been crucial to securing some of those strikeouts.
The runner at second is J.T. Starkus, Joshua Williams at first, both taking a lead. Gray looks at second, sends the ball to the plate, and it takes a bounce to the right for ball number 2. Rios again putting his glove centered and lower to the plate, and that one misses the strike zone for ball 3.
It looks like Rios might have a little bit of a mound meeting out there with Nick Gray as he's maybe trying to calm him down just a little bit. He's got 2 runners on. I'm sure it's a little bit nerve-wracking for him now with there being 2 outs on the board, and he's got a 3-1 count. He has a potential to load the bases up on a walk, and he doesn't want to do that. if at all possible, he wants to try and secure this out now and avoid having the bases loaded.
He's a player with a lot of experience, but this is his first time playing in the NBC World Series. And on the 3-1, he'll get set to deliver. And Gray will deliver the pitch. And just misses the zone down low for ball 4.
Well, bases loaded now. The Larks have got to be extremely careful. They've got to force out at any base. That's the upside. They can really make a play anywhere on the field and they get out of this inning. But getting out of this inning is going to be key. They don't want to give up too many runs early here, especially not in the first inning.
Brody Bloom now to bat, the redshirt freshman from Azusa Pacific. .281 average for him on the season, and he fouls off the first pitch, took a bounce on the plate, and rolls away just a little bit.
That's not a bad way to start the count for Nick Gray. He needs those strikes early to try to be more in command of these at-bats.
Again, the runner at third is Starkus, at second is Williams, and first is Perron. Another pitch misses up high, evening the count at 1-1. Gray will take his time, and he delivers the pitch, slows down his motion, and this one will be popped out of play and land up here close to the press box to the left where some fans are sitting.
Hey, he needed to bring it this way just a little bit. I'd have a souvenir to take home with me.
Gray again looking for his second strikeout as the 1-2 goes to the plate and fouled off in a similar spot, going off a window this time.
Actually dropped back into the field after it kind of landed on top of the Larks dugout. It dropped back into play, so they're going to have to wait a second to get this pitch off.
Larks coach Frank Leo went to pick that up, and another foul ball by Bloom.
Well, Bloom's not giving up easy here. He's certainly showing a lot of fight for this Blackfin squad. Nick Gray has to keep his composure here. He's got a 1-2 count. He should be pretty relaxed right now, all things considered. Despite the fact that he has the bases loaded, a 1-2 count is a great position to be in if you're Nick Gray.
This will be pitch number 6 of the at-bat. And here it comes. And just missed on the outside the zone for ball 2. A lot of Larks fans and coaches in disagreement with the call.
I certainly heard a lot of griping from the Larks fans there over here to our left underneath us, and I don't know, that one was pretty close. He looked like he might have gotten it in the zone, but just barely missed it.
With 2-2 now to the plate, and it's fouled back. 3 foul balls now for the center fielder since he had 2 strikes in the count.
Well, I want to see Nick Gray throw a sinker here right into the dirt and see if Bloom will bite on it. He's really been swinging at just about everything.
The pitch to untie the count, and a swing and a miss. Gray gets strikeout number 2 on the day and leaves the bases loaded in the bottom of the first inning. When we come back, the Larks will send Caleb Duncan, Lorenzo Rios, and Tabor Stokes up to the plate next. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Larks were able to leave the runners, or the bases loaded, stranded in the bottom of the first inning, and now we'll see how they respond with the bats, as Caleb Duncan will play in familiar territory as the leadoff batter. The count is going to start 1-0 as it misses up high, still from the leadoff pitcher, Jack Fenton.
Well, Duncan is about the only player on this field that has a home field advantage right now, as he is quite literally playing on his home turf for his college team.
He'll pop this one up into the infield. Coming in from center field is number 16, Brody Bloom, and he gets the catch for out number 1. Been seeing the Larks put a lot of height on the ball so far. There were actually 3 fielders for the Blackfins running after it, and in the end it's the center fielder that comes in and makes the play.
Well, surprisingly enough, the wind really isn't a factor here today, and it's crazy that I'm saying that, and we're in Kansas, but certainly is not really much of a factor here at X Stadium.
What a bunt by Lorenzo Rios. He put it perfectly down the third base line, and Singleton was there just waiting for it to roll into foul territory. It curved back in, and by the time it did, Rios was already at first base.
He had to have had magnets in that ball. There's no other explanation for what just happened. Rios sitting right on the foul line and stayed in play. What a bunt.
Bunt singles, the second hit of the game for the Larks. And now Tabor Stokes, batting 8th in the order, will come up to bat, and the count will start 1-0 as that one misses high and inside. Again, Fenton continuing to use the fastball, which maxes out at 93 miles per hour for him. And we get a big hit here by Stokes deep into left field. Parham will run back for it at the left field wall. He will stop, and it goes off the scoreboard in left field. A 2-run slam for Tabor Stokes.
Stokes, the first one to go yard here at Eck Stadium for the Larks. And what a way to open up the NBC World Series for Tabor Stokes. Have yourself a day. Have yourself a day.
Home run number 5 on the year for the Ball State commit, and the Larks extend the lead to 3-0. And the lead to 3-0.
We've seen it before. The Larks love to get up early in ball games, and that is where we see them succeed the most. We see Tabor Stokes getting his cowboy hat on and his horse, riding it into the dugout. We don't have the celebration camera today, but they're still having a great time over there in the Larks dugout.
Second inning, and the Larks are already down to the final batter in their order as C.J. Reed's up to bat, starting with a 1-0 count. This time, Fenton puts it down low. The ball makes the count 2-0. Speeding up his motion, he'll deliver, and a swing and a miss ties the count up.
You got to wonder what the mental is for him now for Jake Fenton after giving up that home run, especially here in the second inning.
Another swing and a miss on the slider on the inside. 2 strikes in the count now to C.J. Reed. He's hit in 6 of his last 8 games. And he will swing and miss at that pitch, and it's a drop third strike, so Rigwa will throw it over to first base, and there is out number 2. Larks are back to the top of their order with Lane Sparks, the right fielder. His second appearance of the day. And we get our first press box hit of the day. That one was pretty close.
Man, I thought I was going to get myself a souvenir. It would have been a hot shot at me, but I would have been ready for it. I had my hands up, and I was ready to catch it.
Next pitch goes on the high outside corner for ball 1.
I think that might have been like maybe a couple feet away from getting in here. That was really close. I've got my hopes up now.
The pitch to untie the count, swing and a miss for strike 2 to Lane Sparks. Back-to-back appearances at the plate where he's faced with a 1-2 count. And the fastball goes on the inside for ball number 2. Another pitch to untie the count, and Lane Sparks will face a full count with 2 outs. The infielders for the Blackfins are once again playing close to the outfield grass. This one will be popped up on the infield. Singleton will track it down in foul territory. Andy Luton will get out of his way, and he makes the catch in the third base coach's box, and there is out number 3. But the Larks extend their lead after Lorenzo Rios put down a perfect bunt single on the third base line. Tabor Stokes comes up to the plate on a 1-0 count and drills a 2-run home run to left field to give the Larks a 3-0 lead. We'll be back in a moment for the bottom of the second. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The shortstop, Harrison Kaufman, will be the leadoff batter for the bottom of the second inning as we welcome you back to X Stadium. Hank Corsair, and alongside me is Eli Blankenship on the call for you guys today. 1-0 count to start the inning as Nick Gray returns to the mound, put away 2 batters with strikeouts in the first inning, and is set to go back to action. Slowing down his motion again, he delivers the second pitch, and he puts it on the inside for ball number 2. Harrison Kaufman, one of a few Division I players for this Blackfins team, is a senior from St. Bonaventure. And another one just misses down low. There's ball 3. After Kaufman, it'll be Mike Singleton and Braden Requa in the 9-hole spot. A 3-0 count from Gray, and he's able to find the zone for strike 1. 29th game of the season for the senior from Seattle, Washington. 3-1 count, Gray delivers, and this one's going to be hit over to Tabor Stokes at the shortstop position, and he'll throw it over to Jackson Babcock to get out number 1. A hard hit ball, but Stokes able to field it and throw it over to first base for the first out.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That was a hard hit ball over to Tabor Stokes. He was able to scoop that ball up, and it was not an easy fielding play to make there for Stokes. He was able to keep it in front of him, get it in his mitt, and fire it on over to first for the first out.
Next up is the third baseman, Mike Singleton. Gray's first pitch to him will be a swing and a miss, starting the count 0-1. Another Shoreline Community College player for the Blackfins. Mike Singleton played in 42 games this last season. And the next pitch is high and inside for ball 1. This is Singleton's 30th game of the year with Seattle, entering with a .278 average on 27 hits. And now awaits the pitch to untie the count. And he's going to foul this one off. Another one that looks like it's going to go into the parking lot, or it will stay in the ballpark, landing into the section to the right of us. The count stands now at 1-2.
Well, there's a kid sitting up there right in the corner of those bleachers, and that ball landed literally right at his feet. He got himself a free souvenir.
Gray delivers the pitch, and this one a line drive that goes right in between Reed and Babcock. The first hit of the inning for the Blackfins, and that's their second of the day.
not a bad way to start the inning. When they only have one out, they get a runner on base. Now they'll see if they can be a little bit aggressive on the base paths, get a guy in scoring position, and maybe try to creep back into this ball game. So far, it's been all Larks baseball in these first couple innings.
Blackfins now down to the final batter in their order. That is Braden Requa, the freshman from Skagit Valley Community College. His first pitch goes low and outside for ball one.
I think it's quite fitting that Caleb Duncan plays center field. He's got his college mascot right in front of him with the Woo Shock, the big Woo Shock logo in center field. It's kind of a bit of a paying homage to his college team.
This one's hit Tabor Stokes, and he's going to try to turn a double play, and he does just that, throwing over to Jackson Babcock after tagging second base, and the Larks turn a 3-up, 3-down, bottom of the second inning. Don't go anywhere. We will have the top of the third up next. It's 2-3-4 up next for the Larks. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Welcome back to X Stadium in Wichita, Kansas, as we start the top half of the third inning, led off by Trent Baker. Following after that will be Jackson Babcock and Wilbert Espinal. Larks were just able to go 3-up, 3-down against the Blackfins in the bottom of the second inning. Taking a bow there was Tabor Stokes. He was responsible for every out. Got 2 6-3 plays and also had the double play to get the second out. Trent Baker will start with an 0-1 count after fouling out the first pitch and will show bunt on the very next one. It's going to be fouled back, and now he has to start swinging as the count is 0-2.
Well, they had Johnny B. Good playing on the speakers there before Trent got up to the plate. I was kind of singing it in my head, go, Trent, go, go, go. I was cheering on Trent up here from the press box. It's been a pretty good showing from this Larks team so far.
Next pitch to Baker goes on the outside, just missing for ball one. That time Fenton trying to work in his curveball in between 69 and 72 miles per hour. And Baker stays alive, fouling another one back into the stands, keeping the count at 1-2, and now he'll await the fifth pitch of the at-bat. Fenton speeds up his motion, and another one fouled off by Baker. This one staying in the ballpark, and Jackson Babcock going over to retrieve it and throw it over to the Blackfins dugout on the first base side. Baker having to fight back after walking in his first at-bat. And he will watch the next pitch go by as he will be called out for out number one.
Well, a good-looking pitch there from Jack Fenton. That's his third strikeout on the afternoon, and not an easy batter to strike out. Trent Baker, a pretty talented hitter himself. Not an easy matchup for Fenton, so props to him.
Jackson Babcock up to bat. He'll pop up the first pitch. Again, on that third base side into foul territory, Singleton goes after it, and he's got the catch for out number 2.
Well, the Larks third base coach having to kind of bail out of the way there. It went so far out of play that the third baseman, Singleton, was able to track it down, but not before telling the Larks third base coach to get out of the way. I don't want to run into you.
Andy Luton's getting his exercise today. That's the second time he's had to get out of the way in the last 3 at-bats. Larks will try to avoid 3 up, 3 down as Wilbert Espinal comes up to bat. Fouling off the first pitch, the count starts 0-1. He had a big hit in his first appearance. That was the RBI double that brought home Trent Baker for the first run of the game. And the next pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. Using his fastball, Fenton is ahead 1-2 in the count as Espinal took a swing on the high pitch. Curveball was going outside, just missed the zone, and Espinal now faces a 2-2 count. Fenton's definitely speeding up his time in between pitches, and he gets a called strikeout for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down that inning as Fenton now has 4 Ks on the day. And the Blackfins will be back to the top of their order when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. Bottom of the third inning is set to get underway as Joshua Carter, the leadoff batter for the Blackfins, returns them to the top of their order. Still in search of their first run. They've gotten the bases loaded in the first inning, and they had a runner on in the second, and they're going to get another runner on right here as Joshua Carter hit in the arm. Will go over to first base.
I didn't even see that pitch actually nick him. I'm a little bit surprised that they ended up calling that, but it must have just kind of brushed off of his arm just enough to where the umpire was able to distinguish that as a hit by pitch.
Paxton Bigby now returns to the plate. He had a ground out over the first base side, and Jackson Babcock is currently covering first. They'll throw back to him, and Carter able to get back safely. This is the first time they've gotten their leadoff batter on. In those first few innings, Joshua Carter struck out swinging for the first out of the game, and Harrison Kaufman got out on a 6-3 play back in the second inning. Another throw back to first base. Again, Carter getting back in time. Gray will take his time. The pitch goes to the plate. And it misses up high for ball 1.
Something that plays into the Larks' favor with Tyler Field and X Stadium as a whole is it is a turf field. And that is something the Larks are very used to playing at Larks Park. They have a turf infield at home.
Another pitch goes high and outside for ball 2 to Paxton Bigby. The sophomore from Shoreline Community College. They'll be playing Division I baseball in the Sun Belt next season at South Alabama. And he will get a big hit into right field, but Lane Sparks is going to get there in time. He just needs gravity to bring it to him, and he's got the catch for out number 1.
I will say the only difference really in terms of surfaces for Larks Park and Tyler Field is the outfield is also turf here at Tyler Field, which on the contrary to Larks Park, where you have not only a grass outfield but also a dirt warning track. Here at Tyler Field, it's also a turf warning track. So a little bit different vibe here at X Stadium.
Blackfins able to successfully steal second as Joshua Carter runs over to second. That was their goal for him, putting him as the leadoff batter. He's their steals leader. Now has 15 on the year as he goes over to second, and the count starts off 0-1 to the next batter, JT Starkus. They'll play the outfield a little bit deeper for the Larks as Starkus had a ground rule double in his first appearance. And the next ball is fouled off, and Starkus is down 0-2.
You can actually see in left field it's Trent Baker actually playing a little bit further back than the rest of the outfield. Caleb Duncan still playing fairly shallow for center field, and then additionally Lane Sparks also playing fairly shallow in right field. Now part of that has to do with the fact that Starkus is a right-handed batter.
Another line drive. This one will go into the gap between Duncan and Baker, and Duncan will field it, but a run is going to cross home plate as Carter makes his way there, and that's the first run of the game for Seattle as the score is now 3-1.
Well, a much-needed run for Seattle. They needed to find their way onto the scoreboard to be able to keep up with this Larks team. We've seen it before. They get ahead early in ball games, and that makes it extremely difficult for other teams to keep up with them. We've seen it once before, and if we see it here again today, the Blackfins aren't going to have any opportunity to make their way back into this ball game if they let this lead slip away too far.
With one out, Joshua Williams is now up to bat after JT Starkus just had the RBI single. The team leader in that category, he now has 24 on the season. And the next batter, Joshua Williams, will start with a 1-0 count. The Chicago native was hit by a pitch in his first appearance on a 1-2 count. And he'll put this one in play over to C.J. Reed, tosses it over to Stokes, chance for another double play, and the Larks get it, throwing over to Jackson Babcock. They get out number 3, putting out Starkus at second and Williams at first base. One run does score that inning for the Blackfins. Their leadoff batter, Joshua Carter, crosses the plate thanks to the RBI single from JT Starkus. But now it's time for the top of the 4th inning. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Blackfins were able to get their first run in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and the Larks still lead 3-1 as we start the top of the 4th. We did it for the regular season. We'll do it for the postseason as well. It's time for me to throw the play-by-play duties over to Eli Blankenship.
Well, thank you, Hank. Leading it off for the Larks will be Thomas Lissy, the third baseman. He fouls the first pitch away for strike one. The count is 0-1. Jack Fenton, so far in his outing, has had 4 strikeouts against the Larks. Allowed 3 runs. Lissy takes a hack at that pitch. That ball will go out of play into the bleachers. Lands in a seat right next to a fan. Looks like he's got himself a free souvenir. Now an 0-2 count to Lissy. Lissy, the left-handed batter for the Larks. Here's the 0-2. That pitch low and inside on Lissy. Count moves to 1-2.
Faced with a different situation this time compared to his first at-bat where he was faced with a full count and he struck out swinging.
The pitch is fouled away. Lissy will continue to battle here. We've seen a lot of long pitch counts here in this particular game so far. A lot of battles at the mound so far here at X Stadium. The 1-2 once again to Lissy. Strike number 3. Lissy goes down looking. It's been a bit of a delayed kind of reaction from the home plate umpire. Didn't quite actually recognize that there. Lissy didn't think that was strike 3. I think it might have caught the inside corner there for out number 1. So 1 out here in the top of the 4th, and the Larks will bring up the center fielder, Caleb Duncan, one of the only players on this field that has a home field advantage, as he is a Wichita State baseball team member. The first pitch to Duncan is low for ball 1. The 1-0. Low once again for ball 2. And Duncan, a pretty talented hitter himself. He's really speedy. He's at center field position for this Larks team. He is not a batter to sleep on, despite the fact that he hits in that 5-hole spot.
And with him being a returning player, he had a lot of notable performances in that in the NBC World Series last year, especially against the Air Capital Flyers. Multi-run game for him. Lone Star Baseball Club in bracket play. He had 2 hits in that game as well as 2 RBIs. So it's going to be interesting to see how he shows up for the remainder of this World Series.
The 2-1 to Duncan goes right up the middle. Is it going to make its way through the infield? A diving play is made from the second baseman, Carter, who stops the ball and keeps Duncan on first base, but Duncan will get himself a 1-out single here in the top of the 4th.
You got to give the middle infielders credit to track that one down, but it was just a slow roller, and by the time they got it, Duncan was already at first base.
Well, Carter tried to throw off of one knee to make that play, but he just didn't have enough time to get the ball over to first base, and Duncan's just so quick that he really didn't have much of a chance. That brings up the catcher, Lorenzo Rios, wearing number 21 for the Larks. He swings and misses at the first pitch. It's an 0-1 count. Larks wearing their white uniforms with blue Larks letters across the front of their jersey and blue numbers on the back. That pitch way outside for ball 1. One ball, 1 strike, and 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Fenton looks back over to first base. Duncan dives in safely. He will remain on first for this pitch. The 1-1. Swing and a miss from Lorenzo Rios. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes to the catcher. Fenton comes set. Now the pitch. That ball hit hard into left field. It's going to drop into play. Duncan will advance to second. Rios will have a single. There's runners on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 4th for the Larks.
Second hit of the day for the catcher, showing that he can mix the power in. He had that bunt single in his first appearance, and he gets a big one right there to put a runner in scoring position.
A nice knock from Lorenzo Rios, and the Larks are putting together some sort of a rally here with runners on first and second, 1 in scoring position. That brings up Tabor Stokes, the shortstop and so far been our undisputed player of the game. He's been playing excellent on defense and had a 2-run homer to left field the last time up to the plate. Stokes takes the first pitch, swing and a miss for him. The count 0-1. Fenton comes set on the mound. Looks back to second. Now the pitch. The 0-1 low for ball one. Fenton with the black W behind his back right foot. The right-handed pitcher with the Wichita State W behind him on the mound. Takes a look back to the Wichita State player, Caleb Duncan, on second base. He fires the 1-1. That pitch outside for ball two. Fenton with 5 strikeouts on the day so far. So he looks to try to rack up number 6 here on Stokes. That pitch a swing and a miss for Tabor Stokes. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the shortstop. Stokes, a native of Mustang, Oklahoma, plays at Hutchinson Community College. From around the area here in Wichita, Kansas. They say Stokes goes around. So Stokes is called out. The 2-2 was in the dirt. Stokes took kind of a half-hearted swing, what looked to be more of a check swing to me, and the first base umpire says he goes. So it's 2 outs here in the top of the 4th, and Larks was still with runners on first and second.
Very close call right there, but still Fenton's doing a good job. He's gotten 2 strikeouts in just about every inning so far.
Larks still leading at 3-1. That brings up the bottom of the order with C.J. Reed. The first pitch to Reed finds its way into the zone. No balls and 1 strike to Reed. Reed twirls his bat 3, 4, 5 times. Now the pitch. Swing and a miss. An 0-2 count to Reed. He's going to have to battle back now. Fenton comes set. The 0-2 on the way. That pitch hit into the shallow infield, goes straight to Carter, and Carter will throw it over to first base for the final out of the inning. The Larks leave a couple base runners on the base paths, but the Larks still lead it 3-1 here in the top of the 4th inning. When we come back, it's the Blackfins' turn to get the bats going. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium. I'm Eli Blankenship, joined alongside Hank Corsair. I've got the play-by-play duties here for a little bit. Here in the middle 3 innings, it's been a lack of Blankenship magic so far. We saw a lot of Corsair magic in the first 3 innings. The Larks scoring 3 runs in the first and second inning. They are up 3-1. The leadoff batter for the Blackfins, Jeff Perran, will hit the ball into shallow left field for a single to lead off the inning here in the bottom of the 4th.
And with the Blackfins playing in a completely different part of the country, it's a team that the Larks aren't familiar with. They had their first run in the previous inning, so you have to wonder how they're going to build off that from this point on, playing from behind.
Well, they've got to keep things rolling on offense if the Blackfins want to stay in this ball game. We know this Larks squad has a very high-powered offense, and if they let the lead slip away too far, it's going to start to get out of reach. The first pitch to Bloom, the center fielder, is swung on and missed. It's an 0-1 count to him. Brody Bloom wearing number 16 for the Blackfins. Pitch from Gray is hit hard, straight to Tabor Stokes. He'll fire back over to first base. He got him! A double play for Tabor Stokes. The MVP of this ball game so far.
Just went right to him, and I think Jeff Perron didn't realize that that's where it was going, so he heard the crack of the bat, saw how powerful it was, made his way over to second, and just couldn't get back to first in time.
The field awareness from Tabor Stokes to be able to convert on that play is unreal. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. That brings up the shortstop, Harrison Kaufman. The first pitch to Kaufman finds its way into the zone for strike 1. The 0-1 from Gray is hit out of play and fielded by the third base coach from the Blackfins. He had kind of a backhand, barehanded catch there out in the coach's box. That was pretty impressive there from the third base coach. Nick Gray goes up early here, 0-2. The pitch. That one a little bit high for the home plate umpire's liking. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the shortstop, number 7, Harrison Kaufman. Gray kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Strike number 3, out number 3. The Larks go 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 4th, and they're looking to keep building off that momentum going into the top of the 5th. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to the 91st NBC World Series here at X Stadium. The Larks go 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 4th, and now leading off for the Larks will be, I believe that is number 8, Lane Sparks. That is the top of the order for them. Takes the first pitch. That one swung on after an 0-1 count. He'll drive that one into right field, and he'll make his way over to first base. A leadoff single for Lane Sparks.
Just putting it between the first and second baseman, Carter and Bigby. Great way to get the leadoff hit here in the 5th inning.
Seen a lot of offense so far from this Larks squad. 6 hits on 3 runs for the Larks. 1 runner on. Trent Baker, the left fielder, up to the plate for the Larks. He takes the first pitch inside for ball 1. The 1-0 from Fenton. Sparks goes. Sparky sliding into second base. Successfully steals second. So now a runner in scoring position as Lane Sparks was in there with plenty of time to spare. Lane Sparks, one of the fastest players on this Larks team. There's a reason that he is in that leadoff position.
Still the stolen base leader, and it's kind of the idea that both teams have had. The Blackfins starting Joshua Carter in that leadoff spot. We saw him get a steal earlier today, and now Lane Sparks has his first of the day.
The 1-1 to Baker is inside for ball 2. One runner on second. A 2-1 count to Trent Baker. And nobody out here in the top of the 5th. Larks leading at 3-1. The 2-1 is fouled away and out of play. Will hit the protective netting over down by the first base line. Now a 2-2 count to Trent Baker. No action in either bullpen quite yet. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch on the way from Fenton. He'll fire it back over to second. Throws it over to his shortstop, Kaufman, who actually wasn't even holding Baker on, and they're going to call a balk on Jack Fenton. I think that's the correct call, as it really his motion was just so awkward trying to come off the mound. He wasn't quite ready to make that move on Sparks, and I think Sparks is in his head a little bit there. As quick as he is with that big lead off of second, he'll make his way over to third.
And you're right. We've seen the ones before where the pitcher will spin back over to second. That one was just a little bit awkward than usual.
And Trent Baker will take a really hard pitch to the upper back, and he will make his way down to first base. A hit by pitch will advance him, and you've got to think Fenton maybe starting to get in his head a little bit after that balk, and now having a hit by pitch on Baker. Now runners on both corners will bring up Jackson Babcock, the first baseman.
This is going to be a tough situation to be in. You got Lane Sparks has made it all the way to third. Trent Baker, who has only been caught stealing once this season, is at first, and then Jackson Babcock in your 3-hole spot with no outs.
Jackson Babcock, a very disciplined hitter, was showing bunt there for just a moment. He pulls it away, and the count moves to 1-0. Pitch on the way from Fenton. Runner goes. He will slide into second, and Lane Sparks will score. Baker moves his way all the way to third. Baker's going to go home. Can he make it all the way in? Yes, he can. The Larks score 2 on a pass ball. The Larks lead it 5-1.
Trent Baker showing off the speed. 2 errors committed on the throw to second, then the throw to third, able to get him home.
I don't think there's a single team in this NBC World Series that can be fully prepared for how quick this Larks squad is. People don't even fathom how fast this team is. They have base runners that are so good in terms of keeping their head up, being aware of what's going on the field. And right there, a prime example of that, Jackson Babcock hitting that one to Kaufman. Babcock is safe at first. There's a runner on first after the Larks score 2. The Larks leading at 5-1 with 1 runner on here in the top of the 5th.
And that's now 2 straight plays with errors there for the Blackfins, and they're now sending somebody over to their bullpen to get warmed up.
I think that's the right move to make here. You've got to keep this game within reach if you want to have any opportunity of staying in this ball game. This Larks team, a high-powered offense. This team will tear you to shreds if you don't keep the game within reach. And we see a mound meeting right now, maybe allowing the Blackfins to get things sorted in the bullpen. It makes you wonder how long they're going to wait to make this pitching change, especially with the Larks on the kind of run that they're on, the rally that they've really kind of built off of no outs. It's been a pretty impressive inning so far for the Larks after that heads-up base running gets them 2 runs here in the top of the 5th.
And when Seattle does decide to make a pitching change, it should be pretty predictable from this point on because they only have 1 left-hander on their entire roster, and they just sent 2 more right-handers to go warm up, Kenny Johnson as well as Max Deering.
Well, it's Wilbert Espinal batting in the designated hitter position, the 4-hole hitter for the Larks. First 2 pitches swung on and missed, an 0-2 count to Espinal. Espinal drove in that first run of the ball game for the Larks, opening the scoring, kind of breaking the ice, so to speak. The 0-2 outside for ball 1. Jackson Babcock on first base. Fenton comes set. Now the 1-2. That pitch fouled away for Espinal. Thomas Lissy on deck goes to retrieve the ball from behind the home plate umpire. Home plate umpire signals a 1-2 count. Now the pitch from Fenton. That pitch high and outside for ball 2. Two balls and 2 strikes to the designated hitter. That pitch finds its way into the zone. Wilbert Espinal goes down looking. A backwards K for Jack Fenton. Strikeout number 7 on the outing for him.
One of the players that the Blackfins added for the World Series. He's got the Division I talent playing in the MAC with Akron, and he's showing off his skill today, finding the strike zone. The only problem is the Larks have scored 5 runs to take the lead.
It's really interesting how strikeouts don't always define a pitcher's performance. You see Fenton with 7 strikeouts allowing 5 runs, whereas Nick Ray with only 1 strikeout only allowing 1 run. It's really interesting how even if a pitcher isn't converting on strikeouts, that it may not be defining their entire performance. Thomas Lissy starts out the count 0-1. That pitch missing the zone. Now 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 swung on and missed by Thomas Lissy. Jackson Babcock remains on first base. A 1-2 count now to the third baseman, Lissy. Fenton comes set. The pitch. That pitch fouled away, coming off the mask of the catcher, Reka. Count will stay at 1-2. Fenton comes set. Babcock taking a small lead off first. Swing and a miss for Thomas Lissy. That's strike number 3 and out number 2 of the top of the 5th inning. Strikeout number 8 on the outing for Jack Fenton. He's really been racking up the strikeouts, but trying to play a little bit of damage control here in the top of the 5th inning. That'll bring up the center fielder and Wichita State baseball player Caleb Duncan, playing on his home field here in Wichita, Kansas. The 91st NBC World Series. He starts out the count 1-0. That pitch hit hard into right field. It'll go out of play. If he could have straightened that ball out, that would have been a no-doubter to right field.
We've already seen that from a few Larks players today as well. Just getting the right power. It's just going into foul territory each time.
A 1-1 count now to Duncan. The pitch hit hard right up the middle of the field. It's right into the center fielder and Bloom. And it will be a 2-out single for Caleb Duncan with runners on first and second. And so far, the Larks offense proving their keep here at the NBC World Series. They've picked up right where they left off the regular season. They got rained out in their very last game against the Dodge City A's, who actually just played the Cheney, I don't know their mascot's name, but the Cheney. They were playing Cheney just before this, and they won 8-0 in the opening game of the NBC World Series. The first pitch to Lorenzo Rios, fouled out of play, will go into the bleachers.
And regardless of what that outcome between the Larks and the A's would have been, it would have been a great warm-up for both teams. Both playing teams from the Pacific International League, and Dodge City, they played the team that won that league and won 8-0. So we're seeing that RMBL versus PIL rivalry right here, and it's going in the RMBL's favor so far.
RMBL certainly showing why they are a league to be feared here at the NBC World Series. A 1-1 count to Lorenzo Rios. Runners on first and second. The pitch swung on and missed. Lorenzo Rios now having to protect with 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jack Fenton looking to collect his 9th strikeout on the day. Fenton comes set. The 1-2. That pitch outside. Rios read the pitch well, and he will hold up on that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Lorenzo Rios. Jackson Babcock on second base. Fenton will look back to him. Rios will take a swing down the first base line. It's not fielded by Bigby. Babcock will round third. He's going to score. And now it's going to be Caleb Duncan who stopped at third base. And the third base coach was frantically waving his arms, and Duncan didn't know what to think. And so Duncan will be held up at third. And that'll be a 1 RBI double for Lorenzo Rios, the catcher who has had quite a nice showing here at the opening game of the NBC World Series. The Larks now leading it 6-1 after Jackson Babcock scores here in the top of the 5th. Now it's the shortstop Tabor Stokes who really opened things up for the Larks in the top of the 2nd inning with a 2-run homer to left field. He's played extremely well on defense as well. The 0-1 is low for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Stokes. Fenton pitching out of the full windup. Runners on second and third. Stokes will pop that up high into the air. Underneath it is the first baseman Bigby. He will make the catch. And in the inning, the Larks score 3 in the top of the 5th. They now lead it 6-1. When we come back, it's the bottom of the 5th here at the NBC World Series. You're listening to the Larks Radio Network. We welcome you back to Eck Stadium here in Wichita, Kansas. It's the bottom of the 5th inning. And leading off for the Blackfins is number 18, Mike Singleton, the third baseman. The Larks had a pretty productive top of the 5th. They scored 3 runs. They lead it 6-1. Nick Gray still on the mound for the Larks. And no action in the bullpen quite yet. The 0-1 count to Singleton. That pitch misses the outside of the zone for ball 1. Gray with just 1 strikeout on the outing for him, only allowing 1 run on 4 hits. 1 ball and 1 strike to Singleton. That pitch in the dirt. Count now 2 balls and 1 strike. A little bit of action there in the Larks bullpen. That looks to be number 17, Adrian Nahar.
I think that's actually Brooks Jones.
The 2-1, it fires its way into the zone for strike 2. That's interesting because Brooks Jones is wearing Adrian Nahar's number. Just kidding, I cannot read. That is number 27, not 17. The 2-2 to Singleton. Misses the zone. And now it will be a kind of rare full count here in today's matchup. We really haven't seen a whole lot of full counts in this game. The payoff pitch from Gray. That pitch chopped to the third baseman, Lissy. Lissy tracking it down, firing it over to first. Babcock can't make the catch. Rounding first base is Singleton. And now Sparks will have to fire it over from right field. And so an error will allow Singleton to advance all the way to second base.
First error of the day there for the Larks, but they've been in this situation before where the Blackfins get a runner in scoring position with no outs, so they just need to follow what they've done all day. The pitching needs to do what it's done and rely on the fielders, especially because they're now facing the bottom part of the Blackfins order.
Just as long as Nick Gray can keep his composure like he's done all game, they'll be all right. They've got 1 runner in scoring position, and that brings up the bottom of the order with the catcher, Braden Rika. The first pitch to Rika is outside for ball 1. Nick Gray looking to Rios for the pitch call. Gray comes set. Now the 1-0. That finding the outside corner for strike 1. One ball and 1 strike to the catcher, Braden Rika. 1 runner in scoring position for the Blackfins. Gray takes a look back to second. Rika fouls that one out of play. And now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Braden Rika. He'll have to battle back now against Nick Gray. Gray comes set. Now the pitch. That pitch high and inside on Rika. Ball kind of slips away from Rios. Singleton will remain at second base. Two-two count now to the catcher. A 9-hole hitter for the Blackfins. Gray looks back to second, comes set, now the pitch. High and inside on Rika. The count moves to 3-2. The back-to-back full counts now for Nick Gray. Gray comes set. Now the payoff pitch. Swing and fouled away. Living to fight another pitch will be Braden Rika. And I thought for sure he didn't make contact with that ball, but he just barely got the bottom of his barrel on the ball to keep himself alive in this count.
And it's, again, back-to-back batters faced with a full count here for the Blackfins, so we'll see how they approach this right here with Braden Rica.
Gray kicks and deals. That pitch hit hard right up the middle. Duncan will be there to field it. He kind of fumbles the ball a little bit. He will throw it over to the cutoff and Tabor Stokes. Singleton will remain at third base. Rica will make his way over to first, so that is a a no-out single for Braden Rica. And that brings up the top of the order for the Blackfins, and they're threatening to put some runs on the board here. And it's going to be a mound meeting with Nick Gray, with runners on the corners for the Blackfins. You've got to wonder what the approach is going to be now, as this is kind of a unfamiliar situation for Nick Gray, at least in this ball game. We've seen him rack up some outs and then have runners all over the board, and he's been able to handle that pretty well. You wonder what's going through his head now with one runner in scoring position and then one on first base.
I think what Keith Harper's going to tell him is just to rely on what he's done all game. And, correction, I think they're actually waving now over for Brooks Jones to come into the game, so the Larks will make their first change of the day.
Larks will make their first pitching change. We'll step aside for just a moment. When we come back, it's the remainder of the bottom of the fifth inning. We welcome you back to X Stadium. Brooks Jones taking his final couple warm-up pitches from the mound. And the Larks will rely on him to try to get them out of this inning with the top of the order for the Blackfins up to the plate. It's Joshua Carter, the second baseman, wearing number 42 for the Blackfins, up to the plate now. The Blackfins wearing their aquamarine teal uniforms, very similar to the Marlins uniforms. He takes the first pitch outside for ball one. 1-0 pitch from Jones is outside for ball two. Jones, the native of Lawrence, Kansas, playing for Hutchinson Community College around the Wichita area. The 2-0 pitch goes outside and sliding into home plate. He doesn't make the play at home plate. Brooks Jones looks pretty defeated as Singleton slides in for the second run of the ball game for the Blackfins.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that one was called safe because of where the tag was. Jones slid in there and got him right near his foot, and it looked like he made the tag before he slid in safely. But
I don't even know if Singleton hit home plate in the time that he was laying there on the ground. It looked to me like Jones may have gotten the tag off. There's no instant replay in the NBC World Series, nor is there really any at this level of baseball. And the 3-0 pitch is in there for a ball, and Joshua Carter will advance to first base. It'll be a base on balls, and now runners on first and second for the Blackfins with nobody out here in the bottom of the fifth. Jones, the left-hander, looks back to second. The first pitch to Bigby in there for strike one. Paxton Bigby, the first baseman for the Blackfins, up to the plate. No balls and one strike. That pitch hit straight to Reed. Reed will flip it over to Stokes. Stokes will tag the runner on second, and the ball flies out of his hand. So he'll be safe on second base, and now the bases are loaded. I don't know what happened there. If he didn't touch second base with his foot, or what did you see what happened there?
Yeah, it just kind of bobbled the ball, and by the time he picked it up, Carter was already in there safely.
So only one out with the bases loaded here in the bottom of the fifth, and the Larks are trying to play a little bit of damage control here with Brooks Jones on the mound. That pitch hit into right field. It'll go out of play. Lane Sparks was jogging it down, and once he saw it go out of play, he kind of let up on that play. And JT Starkus, the designated hitter, will start off the count 0-1. Starkus batting in the 3-hole spot. Jones will deliver the 0-1 pitch. Runner will come from third. The tag is applied, and he is out at home plate. The second out of the inning, and a very crucial one at that. Lorenzo Rios applies the tag as Brooks Jones flipped it back to Rios. Rios kind of blocked the pitch forward, and Jones basically just charged the ball and flipped it over to Rios. And honestly, that play looked closer than the last play at the plate. And now the third base coach from the Blackfins having a bit of a conversation with the home plate umpire. Rios will make his way back behind home plate, put his mask back on. And now Brooks Jones sitting in a little bit more of a comfortable position here with 2 outs and runners on first and second here in the bottom of the fifth. The pitch to Starkus is fouled away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the designated hitter. Jones, the left-handed pitcher, pitching out of the stretch. Takes a look over to first base. Now over to second. Kicks and deals. Firing it over to third is Rios. Was the tag in time? Yes, it was. Throwing him out at third base is Lorenzo Rios for the second out of the inning. The scoreboard out in left field actually had the incorrect amount of outs on the board. I apologize for the confusion there. Rios making a crucial play from behind home plate. A gutsy steal there from the Blackfins. Comes back to bite him. And it'll be a 2-2 count. To the designated hitter. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Brooks Jones with his first strikeout of the inning. Only allowing 1 run. Brooks Jones coming in clutch for the Larks here in the bottom of the fifth. When we come back, it's the top of the sixth. The Larks are back up to bat. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to the 91st Annual NBC World Series from X Stadium. Up to the plate for the Larks is C.J. Reed, the second baseman. He takes the first pitch for ball one. The Larks leading it here on the top of the sixth inning, 6-2. After a pretty chaotic bottom of the fifth inning, they go out of that inning pretty much unscathed. They only allowed one run after Nick Gray was pulled from the ball game. Brooks Jones coming in and pitching relief for the Larks. That pitch swung on and missed by C.J. Reed. Now 2 balls and 1 strike to the second baseman.
And in that last inning, the Larks showed their ability to fight back, getting those 2 outs without the ball even being put in play, and then Brooks Jones coming in and getting that final strikeout against J.T. Starkis. And with the teams that, when they were able to score runs in that last inning, it was them taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. So we'll see what changes are made here as the game goes on now that we're in the 6th inning.
The 2-1 to C.J. Reed finds the zone. Now the 2-2. That ball a little bit low and outside for the home plate umpire's liking. It's a full count now. Jack Fenton remains on the mound for the Blackfins. He's racked up 8 strikeouts in the outing. The payoff pitch is fouled away by C.J. Reed. 3 balls and 2 strikes is the count to the bottom of the order for the Larks. Reed twirls his bat a few times. Now the pitch. That pitch fouled away once again. And it'll be a full count for the 3rd time in this at-bat for C.J. Reed. Jack Fenton pitching out of the full windup. The pitch. That pitch hit high and out of play, will go into the stands. That goes near the Wichita State training facility. Now the 4th full count. Payoff pitch, hit high and into shallow left field. There to track it down is the shortstop, Kaufman, who makes the catch for the first out of the inning. That brings up the top of the order for the Larks. It's Lane Sparks hitting in that the one-hole position. The right fielder, better known as Sparky amongst his teammates. First pitch to Sparky's hit high and into shallow left field. There to make the catch is Williams for the second out of the inning. Larks racking up 2 early outs here. In the top of the 6th inning. That brings up the 2-hole hitter, the left fielder, Trent Baker. For the Larks, they bat their right fielder and then left fielder in their lineup in their first and second positions. That ball goes out of play. The first pitch fouled, and a 0-1 count now to Trent Baker. The pitch. That pitch hit into the safety netting down the first base line. And now no balls and 2 strikes to Trent Baker. He's going to have to battle back.
This is the change that Seattle needs at this point in the game. They're starting to get a little more aggressive with the pitching, and the fielding stepping up as well.
Fenton is certainly upping his tempo here in this inning. I've noticed his time in between pitches has decreased, and he's getting very aggressive. Trent Baker fouls that one away. He kind of fouls it into himself. It looked like it may have hit his foot or maybe his thigh. And he's taking a moment to kind of walk it off after getting a little bit of a stinger. I'm sure that didn't feel very good coming off of his bat. A couple of Larks faithful cheering him on, encouraging him. Baker will step back into the box. Fenton still pitching out of the full windup. The 0-2. That pitch outside for ball 1. That pitch really had a chance to sneak its way into the zone. Baker showing his plate discipline there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Baker. That pitch low for ball 2. Baker, the right-handed hitter, and left fielder for the Larks. The 2-2 pitch to him. That pitch hit hard into left field. Backing up is Perman. That ball is going to hit the wall. Baker's going to stop at second base. A 2-out double here in the the top of the 6th inning for Trent Baker, and he gets low and points over to his third base coach in dugout. He calls time. He'll take off of his elbow guard along with his ankle guard, and he'll hand them to the third base coach. And Trent Baker, after a pretty lengthy fight at the plate, will secure a 2-out double for the Larks.
Right off the wall of honor, and also with the 2 outs to start the inning, that kind of sends a message to the Larks that they have the momentum throughout this game, that even with the 2 outs, Trent Baker able to get a huge hit right there and possibly some more runs coming if Jackson Babcock can get a good hit.
The first pitch to Jackson Babcock finds the zone for strike one. Babcock, the left-handed hitter for the Larks. The 0-1 to him is swung on and missed. Babcock now facing an 0-2 count. Fenton, the right-handed pitcher, pitching out of the full stretch now, or pitching out of the stretch. He's got a runner on second. The 0-2 is fouled away by Babcock. He will live to fight another pitch. He's got a runner in scoring position. I really thought that pitch, or excuse me, that hit from Baker had a chance to go all the way. It looked like it had the height and the distance, just dropping right at the wall.
It was very close to the pole at the 330 mark.
Fenton slowing down his time in between pitches a little bit now. The 0-2 pitch. That one inside to Jackson Babcock. Babcock has kind of a trend. He gets walked a lot when he's at the plate. He has such great plate discipline. He's racked up 34 walks on the season for this Lark squad. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Babcock. That one hit into center field. Tracking it down is Bloom. He makes the catch to end the inning. The Larks aren't able to score any runs after a pretty productive inning on offense for the Blackfins. When we come back, it's the bottom of the 6th, and the Blackfins looking to strike back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to the home of the Shockers and home of the 91st Annual NBC World Series here at X Stadium in Tyler Field. Brooks Jones back onto the mound for the Larks after coming in and pitching relief for Nick Gray. That first pitch to the leadoff hitter of this inning, Joshua Williams, the right fielder. hits him in the upper back, and he will make his way to first base. Brooks Jones kind of shaking his head there after that pitch. Not quite happy with that result. Nick Gray went almost 5 full innings for the Larks. Had 3 strikeouts and allowed 1 run. Jones came in, pitched relief, and allowed 1 run in the bottom of the 5th inning and secured some pretty crucial outs for the Larks. The first pitch to the left fielder finds the zone for strike 1. Jones will fire back over to first base. Williams will walk his way back onto the bag. Jeff Perran, number 17, the left fielder, up to the plate. A 1-0 count to him is fouled away for strike 1. No balls and 2 strikes. I was correct there. The scoreboard person who was keeping track of the scoreboard, I think, missed a pitch there, the first pitch of the at-bat to Perran. The home plate umpire signaled the 0-2 count. The scoreboard operator was able to get that fixed. Now no balls and 2 strikes to Perran. The pitch. Outside for ball 1. Williams will remain on first base. He's been kind of threatening to steal a base over there. He's been trying to pretend like he's getting a little bit of a lead. Trying to get in Brooks Jones's head. That pitch swung on and missed. Will be out number 1 of the inning and strikeout number 2 on the outing for Brooks Jones. That brings up the center fielder, Brody Bloom. First pitch swung on and missed to Bloom. Jones, the left-handed pitcher, pitching out of the stretch. The 0-1, high and inside. And the scoreboard says 1 ball and 1 strike, although the home plate umpire will have a visit with his officiating crew. I wonder what the dispute was. Was he saying that maybe he got nicked on that pitch?
I'm not sure what this one's about.
Because the third base coach for the Blackfins had a bit of a dispute there with the home plate umpire, and I don't know what it was about. And they'll make their way back to home plate. Everybody's back in position now, so as it stands on the scoreboard, it is a 1-1 count. Jones looks back to first base, the 1-1. That pitch fouled away into the Larks dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to the center fielder, Brody Bloom. Jones takes a look over to first. The pitch. Outside for ball 2. 1 runner on first, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Larks leading at 6-2. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strikeout number 2 on the inning for Brooks Jones, and out number 2 of the inning.
Put it in the lower part right there, able to get Brody Bloom swinging for the 2nd time today.
3 Ks on the day for Brooks Jones. He's tied Nick Gray, who started the game for the Larks. The first pitch to Kaufman is chopped and fouled behind home plate. An 0-1 count now to the shortstop. Wearing number 7 for the Blackfins. Native of Seattle, Washington. No balls and 1 strike to Kaufman. That pitch low for ball 1. Jones comes set. Now the pitch. That pitch in the dirt and inside on Kaufman. 2 balls and 1 strike now to the shortstop. The pitch from Jones. Outside for ball 3. And Jones now certainly has his work cut out for him with 3 balls and 1 strike. Pitch on the way from Jones. Runner goes. Stokes fields it, fires it over to first base, and makes the play. The Larks secure the 3rd out of the inning. They come out of the bottom of the 6th unscathed. The Larks still lead at 6-2. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium. It's a new pitcher on the mound for the Blackfins. It's number 50, Cole Hoffman. Jack Fenton will end his outing with 9 strikeouts on 6 innings pitched. It's now time for me to turn the play-by-play duties back over to Hank. Hank, over to you.
Thank you, Eli. It's time for the top of the 7th inning as the Larks hold on to a 6-2 lead. Wilbert Espinal, the leadoff batter, and he gets the first hit, sending it right up the middle to the center fielder. Second hit of the day for the designated hitter to start off the 7th inning.
Espinal's had quite an outing so far for this Larks squad. He got that initial opening run for the Larks here in the NBC World Series. He had that RBI that drove in the first run for the Larks and kind of opened up the scoring, and he's really risen to the occasion in that designated hitter position.
Now out to bat will be the third baseman, Thomas Lissy. The new pitcher in the game is number 50, Cole Hoffman, a recent graduate of Del Norte High School in San Diego, California. He will be playing next season at Shoreline Community College. And had a solid performance this season as a pitcher. 9 games played, including 8 starts, 6-1 record, and he recorded 33 strikeouts this season. It's a 1-0 count to Lissy. Espinal has a lead at first, but he's playing closer to the bag. The pitch goes to the plate, and the fastball misses up high for ball 2.
Well, I can only imagine what kind of experience this is for Cole Hoffman. This is such a cool opportunity for him as a high school senior to get to pitch in a tournament like this, as big as this is. This is really as big as it gets at this level, and so such an awesome experience and opportunity for Cole Hoffman to be able to pitch in a World Series like this. I made the comment to you when he took the mound. I got my binoculars out and looked at him, and I saw his face, and I was like, man, that kid is really young, and he is. He's only 18 years old.
7th appearance for him this season. The count is 2-1. That's another thing. He's playing at Shoreline Community College next season, so he's playing with a lot of his college teammates for next season. Lissy fouls one out of play. The count now stands 2-2.
It's a great opportunity for him to kind of build some chemistry and some good camaraderie amongst his teammates here in this summer season before he takes to the college level.
2-2 on the way. Another one fouled back by Lissy. He will now await the sixth pitch of the at-bat. Fourth appearance at the plate for Lissy today. Looking to get the hit right here. He's gotten one in 18 of his last 23 games. And he takes a hard swing. This one hit high into the air, going past some blackbirds flying above the field. And into right field, Williams is there to make the catch for the first out.
Well, the wind is starting to pick up. I can feel it up here in the press box. I see the flag out there in right field is really starting to kind of whip around a little bit. You can see that flag is huge. So it takes quite a bit of wind to really get that thing blowing. And so the wind is starting to pick up. I think it's going to start to become more of a factor. I've noticed, though, here at X Stadium, batters tend to foul the ball up really high in the air or pop the ball up really high in the air. I mean, even higher than the press box. And this press box is quite a ways up here.
First pitch to Caleb Duncan is called strike one. Back-to-back hits on the day for the sophomore from Goodyear, Arizona. He's extended his 5-game hit streak and now has 10 multi-hit games on the season. Fouls off the next pitch into the netting, putting the count at 0-2. Still one out. The runner over at first is Wilbert Espinal. He will again take a short lead as Duncan awaits the pitch from Cole Hoffman. And he fouls another one back, keeping the count at 0-2. Hoffman looks for his first strikeout of the day. A big hit here by Duncan into left field. Perron will run back for it, and it's going to stay in fair territory, but he's able to make the catch and throw it back in for out number 2.
Man, that ball looked like that had a chance. I mean, it was going. It had the height, the distance not so much. That left field pole, the left field foul pole, 330 is where that stands. A little bit deeper than Larks Park, and so despite the outfield being slightly smaller than Larks Park, that left field and right field foul pole still at a further distance than what the right and left field foul pole would be at Larks Park. So that would have been really close to a home run, if not a home run at Larks Park.
Lorenzo Rios makes his 4th appearance at the plate tonight. Has gotten on in all of his 3 previous appearances. He had a bunt single where he eventually scored a run. Another single after that, and he also reached on air in the 5th inning. First pitch to him is called ball 1 after the throwback to Wilbert Espinal at first base before that first pitch was thrown. Rios enters this game with a .295 average. We'll pop this one up, and we'll see if the catcher, Requa, can track it down. And he runs into his teammate Singleton, but is able to make the catch. And there is out number 3.
Props to Rika for making that catch. I mean, he got knocked up by his third baseman, Singleton, and was able to hold on to it, kind of bobbled the ball in his catcher's mitt. Let me tell you, pop flies are not easy to catch in a catcher's mitt. As someone who is a catcher myself, not the easiest thing in the world to do. So props to him for getting that last out.
We go now to the bottom of the 7th inning. 8-9-1 will be up next for the Seattle Blackfins. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium as we start the bottom half of the 7th inning. Mike Singleton leads off the inning for the Blackfins, down 6-2, and Brooks Jones returns to the mound for the Larks. He's had a solid day so far through his first 2 innings with 3 strikeouts, only 1 run allowed, and he starts the inning with an 0-1 count. Next batter up for the Blackfins after Singleton will be Braden Rika, and then Joshua Carter will return them to the top of their order as the count goes to 1-1 on a pitch on the outside. So far today for Singleton, he's gotten 2 base hits and 1 run scored, and now faces a tied count as the next pitch takes a bounce in the dirt. He entered this game with a 278 average, and if he gets a hit right here, he'll have 30 on the year as he swings and misses. He is now facing an even count at 2-2. Jones will look for strikeout number 4 as he delivers the pitch, and this one will be fouled over to the Blackfins dugout, keeping the count at 2-2, and will now await the 6th pitch of the at-bat.
Well, it's only right that I give a shout-out to Brooks Jones. He was able to take down the celebration cam for me when I was frantically running outside in the last home game of the season when we were getting just huge raindrops at Larks Park, and Brooks Jones waved to the camera and took it down for me. He was able to reach up to the celebration camera and spin it off for me behind the Larks nest so I didn't have to get up on a chair while it was pouring rain.
Jones thought he got another strikeout right there, but it's going to be called ball 3. It was outside, and reading the home plate umpire today, he likes him more on the inside. As the payoff pitch goes to the plate, it's going to be fouled off. 2 foul balls now for Singleton since he's had 2 strikes in the count.
And every umpire kind of has their tendencies and their likes and dislikes in terms of where they like the ball in the zone. And you see right there a prime example of that.
Another payoff pitch coming from Jones, who has 3 strikeouts on the day. And it misses on the high outside corner for ball 4. So that'll take us now to the final batter in the order, Braden Rika. And the count now 1-0. Rika, a freshman from Skagit Valley Community College that played in 33 games this season. He was a catcher for the Cardinals, just how he is for the Blackfins, where he was able to win all NWAC North Region honors. He now faces a 1-1 count after fouling the last pitch off. Fouls another one over to the Larks dugout on a ground ball, and the count now moves to 1-2. Jones takes a deep breath, sends the pitch to the plate. This one will be popped up out of play. And it lands on the stairs. Still 2 strikes in the count as Rika trying to fight back. Rios wants the ball on the outside is where he'll position his glove. That's where the pitch goes, and a swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts on the day. All the K's forward facing for Brooks Jones, and there's 1 away in the bottom of the 7th.
That was a good-looking pitch there from Brooks Jones. Got him swinging on it, too. Was way behind the pitch. Brooks Jones throwing in some heat into the zone there to secure that first out of the inning.
Seattle's back to the top of their order for the 4th time this game with Joshua Carter. The infielder from Dallas, Texas, will take a swing at the first pitch, and that'll be strike 1. After Carter will be Paxton Bigby, and JT Stark is up to bat next. Still just one out and a runner at first base. That's Mike Singleton, who has walked on a full count. Next pitch goes inside, rolls away from Rios, able to pick it back up and keep Singleton over at first. Count is now even at 1-1. Jones looks over at first, delivers the pitch, and it goes right down the middle for strike 2.
Jones in control of this count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter, and now Brooks Jones has an opportunity to really use a lot of different pitches in his arsenal.
We'll see what he decides to go with as he delivers the pitch. He puts the fastball on the outside, and there's ball 2.
This is where things get really fun to watch when you're watching a pitcher, because they're able to really move the ball around the zone, try to get the batter to really fall for some of those trick pitches.
This one will be put in play, and once again, the Blackfins get another hit past Reed and Babcock in that gap, and it's Carter's first hit of the day. Still just one out as the Blackfins have runners at first and second, and now up is Paxton Bigby. He started the game over 2, reached on a fielder's choice in his last appearance. One of the 10 new additions to this Blackfins team for the NBC World Series. He starts with a 1-0 count. Played his sophomore season at Shoreline Community College this last season. In 48 games, he was able to come up with 60 hits and finish with a .343 average. On a 1-0 count, he'll get a half-hearted swing, and it's now 1-1. The runner at second is Singleton. At first is Carter as the pitch goes to the plate, and this one will get away from Rios, and both runners will advance. Count now 2-1 to the first baseman. Still in search of his first hit of tonight's game. And he puts the next pitch high and inside, and that's going to be ball 3. We'll see where Jones decides to position the ball. Again, working with 2 runners in scoring position. This one will be put in play over to Tabor Stokes. Looks at third, throws it over to first, and gets out number 2. But a runner does score. Mike Singleton crosses home plate for the second time in today's game. And they fixed the score on the scoreboard. It is 6-3 now, but it said 6-3 a moment ago.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. I was a little bit confused because I looked over to the right of us, and we have Butler Community College also broadcasting and doing the NBC World Series broadcast. And so I looked over in their booth, and their scoreboard also said 6-3. So I was confused. I was like, what is going on? I was like, I swear they didn't score 2 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and evidently they got it fixed. So I was going to go over there and ask them about it, but no need. So they've got it all figured out.
Keith Harper emerges from the dugout, and he will have a meeting with Brooks Jones. There are 2 players warming up currently in the Larks bullpen. Looks to be Adrian Nahar, and I believe the other pitcher in there right now is one of the players that the Larks added for the NBC World Series. That's Trey Watson, that's also warming up as well. But it doesn't matter. They will keep Brooks Jones on the mound to face off against JT Starkus. So everybody will return to their respective positions. Starkus will make his 4th at-bat of the game. He's 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI. A double for him as well as a single. And we'll see what he does right here. Another Shoreline Community College player for Seattle. He is a sophomore that's currently uncommitted. He will foul off the first pitch into the safety netting in front of the patio tables next to the Seattle dugout. Starting the count off 0-1.
Well, Brooks Jones needs to do everything in his power to keep the Blackfins from scoring any more runs in this inning, as 3 runs is a pretty good cushion to have, but when you get around that 2 number, things start to get a little hairy.
Next ball takes a bounce at the plate for ball 1. Taking a big lead at third is Carter as the pitch goes to the plate. This one's going to go into foul territory. Sparks started running after it. It lands in the Seattle bullpen and moves the count to 1-2. Larks fans will start to clap to cheer on Brooks Jones. Good showing from the fans, making the 2.5-hour drive down to Wichita. And here comes the 1-2 from Jones. It's high and outside. Count is now even once again. Rios puts his glove low and inside. The pitch goes to the plate and a swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Brooks Jones to retire the side in the bottom of the 7th inning. Larks are getting closer to winning their first game of pool play here at the 2025 NBC World Series. And now we go to the top of the 8th. Tabor Stokes, CJ Reed, and Lane Sparks will lead off the next inning for the Larks. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium on the campus of Wichita State University for the top of the 8th inning. Larks lead at 6-3, and they'll send Tabor Stokes, CJ Reed, and Lane Sparks up to the plate, still facing off against Cole Hoffman. First pitch goes high and outside for ball 1. Stokes so far in this game had the 2-run home run to start the game. It has been a key part for the Larks in the fielding tonight. Next pitch high and outside again for ball 2. Cole Hoffman will take his time, slows down his motion as this one goes to the plate, and he's able to get the pitch in there for strike 1. Rika centers his glove, puts this one on the inside, and the changeup misses. Count moves to 3-1. Stokes looking to get on base for the second time tonight as the pitch goes to the plate. He swings and misses, and we'll await the payoff pitch. Hoffman will deliver, and this one will be fouled back into the safety net, keeping the count again at 3-2. Stokes trying to get his 16th multi-hit game of the season. As the pitch comes to the plate, he'll put it in play, fielded by the shortstop Kaufman. This one takes a hard bounce, and it doesn't reach first base in time. Stokes reaches safely.
Well, so far, Tabor Stokes has had a flawless outing. He has just been putting on a clinic here today at the opening game of the NBC World Series for this Larks squad, and man, no exception there. He legged it all the way out over to first base, was able to get there just in time before the throw made it there, and Tabor Stokes notching a multi-hit outing for him here today.
They will officially list that one as an infield hit as the Larks bring up C.J. Reed. Batting in the left-handed box, so the pitch will be delivered. He showed bunt, pulled it back. It's going to be called strike, and Tabor Stokes successfully steals second base. Larks continuing to be aggressive on the base path. They have yet to be caught stealing yet in today's game. Looking to get a big win before facing off against the Oklahoma MVP in 2 days. And the pitch goes to the plate on an 0-1 count. This one hit high into the air once again. Kaufman and Singleton went out after it. Kaufman will be the one that calls for it in foul territory, and he's got the catch for the first out. Next up to bat is Lane Sparks as the Larks are back to the top of their order for the 5th time in today's game. Sparks a 1-for-4 day for him so far. He's got a run as well and has stolen 2 bases, and will start with an 0-1 count, swinging and missing on a high pitch. Second baseman playing close to the grass, that's Joshua Carter. Hoffman takes a look at second. Stokes playing mind games with him almost as he was just going back and forth between second and on the path to third. But Hoffman will step off the mound and will get set to deliver the next pitch on an 0-1 count.
And when he does that, he forces Kaufman to move back and forth on the base paths too to try and be there to be there for the throw, and it just kind of throws off the entire infield.
High hit as Kaufman will run back for it. Perron got behind him, but he's the one that makes the catch. There is now 2 away. That'll bring up Trent Baker. He's had a big day. He's the only player for the Larks that has scored 2 runs. He had a double in his previous appearance. And we'll see what he does right here with a runner in scoring position. Baker's still the RBI leader for the Larks this season. He's got 39. If he can get Tabor Stokes home, that'll be number 40. He starts with an 0-1 count with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. Larks still ahead 6-3. And the pitch goes to the plate as Tabor Stokes will make his way over to third. And another pop-up as Big B will try to track it down, and he does so in foul territory. On the run, he makes the catch, and that is out number 3. It is time for the bottom of the 8th inning. The Larks still hold on to a 6-3 lead over the Seattle Blackfins. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. The Larks will make another change on the mound as they bring in Adrian Nahar to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Brooks Jones exits after 3 innings pitched, only 1 hit allowed, and recording 5 strikeouts on the day, gives up 2 runs. It was the first time that he's given up any runs since July 5th when the Larks took on the Game Day Angels, so very strong performance for him today as the Larks still hold on to the 6-3 lead. Nahar comes into the game to face the middle part of the Seattle Blackfins order, as the count will start off 2-0 against Joshua Williams. Nahar gets set to deliver the next pitch to Rios, and it's
We've seen Nahar many times this season. This is his 12th game played on the season, and he is a very talented pitcher on this Larks lineup.
pitch misses outside for ball 3. Joshua Williams has reached base twice, but both those have been because he was hit by a pitch. And he will walk on a 3-1 count. Heading over to first base, once again the Blackfins get their leadoff batter on, and now that brings up Jeff Perron. Perron has a walk and a single in today's game. His most recent appearance was a strikeout swinging on a 1-2 count against Brooks Jones. And he will get a big hit deep into left field. Trent Baker will run back for it at the wall, and that's gone. A 2-run home run makes it a 1-run game for the Seattle Blackfins. Second home run of the game for either team, and for the Blackfins, that is home run number 15 on the year.
That's just Perron's 3rd home run of the season. Perron came up big when the Blackfins needed him most, and now the Blackfins, being within 1 run here, are in a prime position to strike back here on this Larks squad. We've talked about it before. This Larks team is really good at going up early, and they like to hold their lead throughout the remainder of the game. This is a situation where they have not always seen themselves in for a big part of this season, and so it's going to be difficult for this Larks team to be able to really have that mental fortitude going into the remainder of this game.
1-0 count to the next batter up, Brody Bloom. And he will hit it over to Jackson Babcock, who gives an underhand toss to Adrian Nahar, covering first base. He gets the out for the first out of the inning. So now that'll bring up the shortstop, number 7, Harrison Kaufman. The St. Bonaventure Bonnie. 0-for-3 for him on the day. He's had 2 groundouts to Tabor Stokes and has also struck out swinging. Half-hearted swing, but it's in the zone for strike 1. Next pitch takes a bounce for ball 1. Rios centers his glove, another half-hearted swing. Didn't look like he went around. It's outside. It's a tied count now for Harrison Kaufman. Adrian Nahar, he works in a fastball, a changeup, and a slider into his rotation. Gets set to deliver the next pitch. This one will be put in play, and once again over to Tabor Stokes. Can he do it again? Yes, he can. He gets it over to Jackson Babcock, the 3rd time he's thrown Harrison Kaufman out today, and that's 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Well, Tabor Stokes must just have a target on his jersey or something, some sort of bullseye that people just keep aiming for, because Tabor Stokes is there every single time, and he has done fantastic for this Larks team in today's matchup. Without Stokes, this game would not be where it's at right now. I mean, he has played lights out, putting on a clinic out there at shortstop.
With 2 outs, Mike Singleton makes his 4th appearance at the plate tonight. He's reached base on every appearance, 2 walks and a base hit for him. And he's now down 0-2 as he watches another one go by. Nahar just needs 1 more strike to retire the side. That one goes inside for ball 1. Pitch on the way. This one hit into foul territory. And it'll land out of the ballpark. Count stays at 1-2. Rios wants it down the middle. Nahar delivers the fastball, and it goes right down the middle for the strikeout. First of the day for Nahar and number 30 on the season. We are down to the final inning. The Larks holding on to a 1-run lead at 6-5. We'll be back in a moment for the conclusion of the game. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to Wichita, Kansas for the top of the 9th inning. Larks holding on to a 1-run lead against the Blackfins after they were able to hit a 2-run home run from Jeff Perron in the prior inning. They've given themselves a shot, and they will put Cole Hoffman back on the mound to prevent the Larks from getting any insurance runs. And it's the 3, 4, 5 batters up next as Jackson Babcock comes up to the plate. He's got 1 run in the game. That one was where he reached on an error. And he will foul off the first pitch for strike 1. The infielder's playing very deep here for Babcock. Probably wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to put down a bunt so you have the runners on, and since you're in this part of your lineup, you can work on that.
Certainly the right approach for this Larks team, as they have some speed in their lineup. We've seen it before, and Jackson Babcock has pretty good plate discipline, and I've seen him lay down some pretty good bunts.
Count is 0-2. He will hit a fly ball. This one will go over the head of Kaufman, but sliding in and making the catch is the left fielder, Jeff Perron, for the first out of the inning.
What a catch. I mean, that's – they just played the Sports Center theme, the sound over the PA, the dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. I mean, they said it best themselves. That was a highlight play. I mean, that was a pretty nice catch over there in left field, making that sliding grab, just kind of getting his mitt just barely underneath it to where he caught it right before it hit the turf, and a very crucial out secured there for the Blackfins.
First pitch to Wilbert Espinal, put in play down the first base line, but picking it up is Big B, tagging first base. Right away, there's 2 outs.
And this is the Larks' last opportunity to get some bats moving before the Blackfins have their last opportunity to at least tie this game up and send it to extras or walk it off. We'll see what the Blackfins are able to do. This inning for the Larks is pretty crucial to secure some insurance runs.
Thomas Lissy will be up to bat. It's the left-handed batter against the right-handed pitcher, Cole Hoffman. Swing and a miss to start the at-bat, an 0-1 count. After Lissy, it'll be Caleb Duncan and Lorenzo Rios up to bat. And the pitch goes into the zone. It's now 2 strikes in the count for Thomas Lissy. Catcher shows his glove up high, and that's where it goes. The ball, the count now standing at 1-2. Hoffman puts another one inside, and Lissy starting to fight back with an even count at 2-2. Hoffman taking his time, only 5 seconds left on the pitch clock. Half-hearted swing there by Lissy, and they say that he didn't go around. He stays alive, and it's a full count.
That was the right call there from the third base umpire. A very close one, to say the least, but certainly a good one. That was a close swing. He almost broke the plane to the front part of the plate, but Lissy was able to pull back just in time to stop the swing.
Lissy will put the payoff pitch in play, and this one's going to land in front of the center fielder, Bloom. And Lissy keeps the inning alive, his first hit of today's game, and he will stay at first base.
Well, keeping it alive he did, and a much-needed hit, as if Caleb Duncan can drive him home or even keep this inning going here, the Larks might be able to put a couple insurance runs on the board.
The Wichita State Shocker, Caleb Duncan, now up to bat, 2 for 4 for him on the day. Both of his hits have been singles. He's also been in scoring position in every appearance that he's made a hit. Second in the first one back in the 4th inning. Made it all the way to third in the 5th inning. He starts with a 1-0 count, watching the first pitch go by. Thomas Lissy taking a lead off first base, and a pretty sizable one, so Hoffman will throw it back over there, and he slides back safely. Hoffman kicks and deals, and it catches the low outside corner for strike one to Caleb Duncan.
He just snuck that one right into the corner, just barely able to get it in the zone, and Caleb Duncan thought about it. He looked at it, but didn't bite on it, and now Duncan faces a 1-1 count.
Hoffman waited till the pitch clock ran down, and this one hit over to Williams in right field, running after it into foul territory. He makes a diving catch, and he's got it for out number 3. Larks weren't able to put up any insurance runs, but they still have the lead, and it is time for the bottom of the 9th inning. 6 runs for the Larks, 5 runs for the Blackfins. We will have the final inning for you when we come back. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium for the bottom of the ninth inning. Seattle needs 1 run to tie and send it to extras, 2 to win it, and it's 9-1-2 up to bat for them this inning. And the Larks do make a change on the mound. The third relief pitcher into the game, Nolan Wilson, will come in, trying to get his second save of the season. Lowest opponent batting average for the Larks at 121. He has 8 games this season. And we're going to have time as the official fell to the ground, or the home plate umpire fell to the ground.
Yeah, I didn't actually see it when it happened, but I just wonder if he collapsed from the heat. It's hot out here. You know, it's very humid environment here, and he's being helped back up to his feet by the Larks coaching staff, and looks like they're going to walk him off the field to give him a break, because I think that has to be what it was. It would had to have been a heat-related deal.
Yeah, because there was an individual that ran over and immediately started feeling parts of his body. You'd have to assume that's why he collapsed. So we'll hope that he's okay. And I'm not sure what they'll do now, but we'll probably step away for a moment as they deal with that. Bottom of the ninth inning is coming up as they deal with the situation with the home plate umpire. We'll be back in a moment. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium as we get set to start the bottom of the ninth inning. They did get the situation under control, and from a source that we were able to, from what we were told, the umpire behind home plate did collapse from a heat-related illness, but they did get him under control. There were people on the scene right away. They took him to a tent next to the Larks dugout, and they're currently taking care of him right now, so we wish the best for him, but they do have a new home plate umpire, and from the way it looks, they're just going to work a two-man crew for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and I think because this game is pretty much coming to a close here, they're at the very tail end of this one. It makes sense for them to run just a two-man crew here, but at the same token, obviously not what they planned. So it's going to be a kind of uncharted waters for this umpire staff, this officiating staff.
So as we get set to start the inning, Nolan Wilson, the new pitcher into the game for the Larks, the junior from the University of Cumberland, will make his 8th appearance on the mound this season. He's again facing batters 9, 1, and 2 for the Blackfins. First batter he's facing is Braden Rika, the catcher from Skagit Valley Community College. Will start with an 0-1 count.
Another thing you have to remember, those umpires are wearing pretty much all black. They've got black shirts with gray pants and black hats. That's got to be hot, too. The black is really kind of attracting and sucking in all that sun that's really kind of beating down now as the clouds are starting to dissipate here at X Stadium.
Yeah, it was 89 degrees at first pitch and cloudy. It's definitely changed because the clouds have cleared out. But the count is 1-1. And another one gets delivered on the outside, making it 2-1 to Braden Rika. 1 for 3 for him on the day. He had a base hit back in the 5th inning. Tried making his way to home, but got tagged out by the Larks. And the pitch to untie the count, and it goes right down the middle. Rika watches it go by. It's now a 2-2 count for Nolan Wilson. He enters with 30 strikeouts on the season, looking to get one right here for the first out of the inning. Full windup for Wilson, and it catches the outside corner, and there is the strikeout for out number 1.
Well, that is the way to start off the inning if you're Nolan Wilson. Really starting the inning with an exclamation point, getting him to strike out the first batter really has got to up his confidence for sure going into the remainder of this inning. He's 2 outs away now from securing the Larks' first victory of this 91st annual NBC World Series.
Blackfins go back to the top of their order. It's Joshua Carter, the second baseman, wearing number 42. The new home plate umpire will let Wilson throw the first pitch now. And here it comes. Catches the low outside corner. Carter watches it go by, and the count starts off 0-1. Rios wants it on the outside. That's close to where it goes. It just misses the zone, and it evens the count up at 1-1.
That looked really close to the same location of that last pitch, just barely missing the corner this time.
It's a 1-1 count. Joshua Carter hoping for a repeat. He's gotten on base in his last 3 appearances, struck out in his first one, and now he's going to be faced with a 1-2 count. So he's had now 3 appearances with 2 strikes. The first one was the strikeout. The other one was the base hit back in the 7th inning. We'll see what he does on the third one. As the ball goes to the plate, it's going to go right back up the middle. C.J. Reed will field it on the run, throws it over to now Paul Smith covering first base, and he's got it for out number 2.
That was not an easy play to make for C.J. Reed. He fielded that on the run and then made the throw across his body. Getting his hips turned was probably the most challenging part of that because he was on the run. And being able to throw that ball over to Jackson Babcock, who was able to convert and make the play, great teamwork there from this Larks squad and a much-needed out. They're just 1 out away now from closing this one out.
Seattle will have to rely on Paxton Bigby to keep the game alive. He lets the first one go on the high outside corner for ball 1. He is 0 for 3. He's reached base once on a fielder's choice. He also had an RBI on a 6-3 play. And there is strike 1. Once again, Nolan Wilson finding the zone right down the middle.
Correction, that was Paul Smith on first base. It looks like they've made a substitution.
And the count is now uneven in favor of Nolan Wilson as he sends another one right down the middle, and Bigby watches it go by. The Blackfins are down to their final strike. Larks fans doing like they do at Larks Park, clapping along, helping the pitcher. Wilson kicks and deals and just misses a little bit on the outside for ball 2.
Man, that was right there. Almost found the zone, just couldn't quite get it in there. And the batter really thought about taking a hack at it, but didn't bite on it. Nolan Wilson still got a couple pitches here to be able to close this one out.
It's once again another even count, 2-2. Nolan Wilson nods his head at the catcher Lorenzo Rios, sends the ball to the plate, and it misses down low, and it's a full count for Paxton Bigby. One of 2 things is going to happen right here. The game will end, or the Blackfins are going to put their tying run on base. The payoff pitch from Wilson, and this one's going to be hit over to the new first baseman, Paul Smith, bobbles it, throws it over to Nolan Wilson. Is it in time? Yes, it is. It's out number 3, and the Larks survive a late push from the Blackfins and win by a final score of 6-5 to kick off their first game of the 2025 NBC World Series.
Well, that's the way to do it. Close it out with an exclamation point. Hank and I both said right before this inning, we're like, I don't like this at all. This is the most uncomfortable we felt going into a 9th inning this entire season, man. This is wow. What a way to end it, though. The Larks ended in a memorable fashion, to say the least, and starting off this NBC World Series run with a bang.
We'll have our post-game show coverage up next. We will talk about today's game, look at final numbers, and also take a look at some final scores from around the NBC World Series. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to the NBC World Series on the Larks Network. We welcome you back to X Stadium on the post-game shows. The Larks get the win over the Seattle Blackfins 6-5 for their first game of the NBC World Series. It was a very competitive game. The Larks jumped out to a big early lead of 6-2. The Blackfins make a late push, but in the end, Hayes emerges victorious, still on track to defend their title, and that's now 14 wins in a row on the season and 7 wins in a row in the NBC World Series.
Well, it was a nail-biter from really the sixth inning on. Things were starting to get pretty close. That's when the Blackfins started to really wake up on offense, and then the eighth inning was really when they struck back. They were knocking right on the door of the Larks. They brought it within 1 run, but the Larks were able to close it out. Nolan Wilson ending it on an exclamation point.
And you pointed this out a couple times during the game. The pitching today for the Blackfins, it was a very strong start for Jack Fenton, getting 9 strikeouts in the 6 innings that he pitched. But on the other side, you had the Larks with Nick Gray getting the start. He only had 3 strikeouts. However, it was the Larks that jumped out to the early lead. Despite the Blackfins getting the strikeouts, the Larks were able to get some contact and some big hits and take that early lead that they kept for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing to remember about baseball. Strikeouts don't mean everything as a pitcher. I think one of the most important statistics as a pitcher is the ERA. Earned run average, it really defines a pitcher and who they are and what to expect in an outing for a pitcher. If a pitcher's got a 7 ERA, you're going to expect to see a lot of hits on the board. If a pitcher has a 2 ERA, it might be a very defensive-heavy game. It's really all about how well a pitcher manages batters. It may not be a strikeout-heavy game, but if a pitcher is pitching to a batter and forcing him to hit straight to his infielders, he's going to do his entire team a favor by helping them pick up outs.
And looking at how this is going to impact the rest of the way for the Larks, getting that first win is obviously crucial. Even if you lose from the Blackfins' perspective, it doesn't define how the rest of your performance is going to go. Just getting that first win for the Larks is huge, and they're definitely going to carry this on for their last 2 games of pool play.
Without a doubt. And this Blackfin squad in their pool is probably one of the more difficult matchups that they were going to face in their pool play. And so this was certainly a test for the beginning of this World Series, but I think for the Larks, it's definitely going to be a confidence booster going forward, especially considering this Larks team has high hopes to make it all the way to the championship this season.
We'll take a look at a few final numbers real fast. The Larks out-hit the Blackfins 11-8. The Blackfins also committed two errors along the way, and the Larks only committed 1. The pitching for the Blackfins combined for 9 strikeouts. All of those came from Jack Fenton, and for the Larks, they once again put up 10 strikeouts in a game, the 24th time they've done that this year, as Brooks Jones led the way with 5. Nick Gray had 3, and Adrian Nahar and Nolan Wilson each had a pair in the lone innings that they pitched. And that's our final numbers for today's game. And looking at the NBC World Series scoreboard, this was the final game of the day. As before this, the Dodge City A's defeated the Seattle Cheney Studs by a final score of 8-0. That game ending by a run rule in the 7th inning. And then after that, looking at some the scores for tomorrow, neither the Larks or the Blackfins will play. They will both have the day off. But the other 2 teams in the pool, the Oklahoma MVP and the Lone Star Kraken, will be the first game tomorrow at 12 p.m. And both the Larks and Seattle Blackfins will be in action on Saturday night. The Larks play at 6 o'clock against the Oklahoma MVP, and the Seattle Blackfins play at 8:30 immediately after that against the Lone Star Kraken.
And I just want to take a note, just for just one moment, to be able to thank everyone that's tuned into this broadcast. You make it possible for Hank and I to be able to come out to the NBC World Series. It's been an awesome opportunity for us, and please, please, please continue to follow the Larks in the NBC World Series. You guys are in for a bunch of a lot more exciting games. We were a little bit nervous as to how many people were going to tune in and if it was going to be worth our time, and we talked to Coach Frank Leo, who was a little bit unsure, like, well, we'll just kind of have to play it by ear, and we've been very pleasantly surprised as to how many of you have been able to tune in for this broadcast, and it really adds some meaning and some purpose for Hank and I. So we really do appreciate you all tuning in, whether it's tuning in our broadcast and turning on the video on a TV or whatever the case is. We really appreciate it. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for tuning into this broadcast.
Yes, thank you to everyone. It should be a fun rest of the next few weeks here in Wichita. But that's going to wrap up our coverage of today's game. The Larks get the win by a final score of 6-5. and improve to 29-4-1 on the year. The Blackfins will now fall to 17-16-2. And that's going to do it for our coverage of today's game. Again, thank you to everybody from tuned in. I'm Hank Corsair, and alongside me today was Eli Blankenship, and we hope you all have a great rest of your evening.